Good morning, Flosstube. Welcome to Justsewsherrie. I'm Justsewsherrie here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. Well, hello, welcome. Today is Saturday the 2nd of November. Welcome to those who might have accidentally landed here and decide to just see what it's all about. Welcome to those I've scooped up along the way, and welcome to those that have been with me from the start. So, this is my fourth go. We'll see how well this one develops. And do you know, I've got an itchy nose already. It's called Flosstube, itchy nose is what it's called. So what have you been up to? We've had Halloween, haven't we? And I've just realised that I've got to take my Halloween shrine down. So I'll need to do that in the next day or two. And not sure what I'll put up instead, because us here in the UK have got no thankful bones in our bodies in November, not like the US ladies and gents have everything to be thankful for. We just grumble along until we get to Christmas. Yeah, which is pretty much what we do. And if you hear it once, you will hear it 100 times this month. I don't know how we're in November. I don't know where the time's gone. I just don't. It's true. I don't know where the time's gone. I'm kind of still in probably about May 2022. That's as far as I've got. I mean, if we could stop time and actually, not necessarily stop time, keep having your days, but decide when the dates change for you, because I'd maybe be about 30. And about 30 is quite a nice age to be, isn't it? You're grown up. You don't do daft things anymore, like staying out till 6 a.m. Or maybe I had a couple of those in my 30s, more than I care to remember. So yeah, it would be nice to do time on our time zone. But so why we're here? Oh, that's right, we're here for cross stitch, aren't we? So if you have accidentally landed here by mistake, this is a channel about cross stitch primarily, with bits of madness and strangeness thrown in along the way. There's usually a few white dust mites floating around as well, although I didn't see many last week. Justsewsherrie. This week's Justsewsherrie isn't really Justsewsherrie, it's an old funny one that my niece Jennifer, and we've talked about Jennifer a few times, she's the one with no filter. I think you could safely say she takes after our Auntie Sherrie. But because I was thinking this week about how creative we all are. I was watching something about creativity. I was listening to a podcast, and I like to listen to it. This shows where my brain goes. This is the podcast. It's called Morbid, and it's basically a true crime, but it's presented in a kind of a conversationalist way with two sisters. One of the girls is a mortuary technician, and the other girl's a hairdresser. You couldn't get two more different qualifications. Anyway, one of the tales I was listening to this week was about a young girl, and they kept talking about she was creative and therefore she was a free spirit, and she needed to express herself, so she did a lot of journaling and things like that. And they just kept coming back to this creativity thing, about what characteristics you have if you're creative, and apparently one of them is being, I was going to say wild and free. That would probably suit me. I've always been a bit wild and free. Never mind a bit, actually. I've been quite a lot wild and free at times. But yeah, so I've been thinking about creativity a lot this week. And I got in touch with... So here we go. Off on a tangent straight away. I got in touch with Sherrie from our local Northeast Stitchers, and she organises the retreats with the Dixon sisters, and she is very big, I suppose, in the Flosstube community. She goes to a lot of Chatelaine retreats and the Nobam retreats and stuff, and she's a lovely, lovely girl, but she does more than stitch, she does knitting. So I got in touch with her because it's getting into winter, it's getting into cold time. My left hand, not so much my right, but my left hand is starting to freeze when I'm stitching after a little while. I mean, I'm literally like having to sit on my hand, try and warm it up, because I do two-hand stitching, so the other one's obviously underneath. So I don't know if it's just kept slightly wet, I don't know why. It's not my right hand, but it's my left hand that gets really cold. And I thought, oh, I know, I'll buy some fingerless gloves, some of those, not with fingers in, just where they're knitted up to here. And I started looking on Etsy for them, and they're quite expensive. They're about, well, I think quite expensive, about 25 quid, 30 quid. They weren't to be sniffed at. And I was looking at them more and more and thinking, I could knit them. I could make them. I'm a creative soul. I'm very wild and very free. I'm creative. I could do that. And then I thought, but I don't know where to start. I thought I need a knitter. I need a knitter to ask some questions. So I reached out to Nadine and said, help. I would like to knit this, and I just don't know where to start. I can do plain and purl. So I can do, I think it's called a garter stitch, moss stitch. I don't know whether rib stitch is the same, whether that's a plain one, purl one, kind of jazz. I don't know, you knitters amongst you be able to tell us. Anyway, she was telling me about, it doesn't so matter, because I was saying, because I want to do them with alpaca. I've got an alpaca poncho that I got from my daughter when she was over in Peru, and it is the warmest thing I've ever been in my entire life, and it's fabulous because it's a poncho, so, and it's just a short one, so it means my arms are like free, so I can still stitch and things like that, and still do stuff. It's not as sort of restricted. What was it Courtney said? It wasn't as, you're not as committed as when you're in a jumper. Yeah, which made me laugh. So yeah, you're less committed, you're more wild and free when you're in a poncho. God, we're going all over the place just to get to it, Justsewsherrie. But so I reached out to Nadine and I was saying, I want to do with alpaca wool. Do I need to pick a pattern that is just for alpaca? What happened there? Your batteries ran out? Just for alpaca wool? Or, and she was like, no, it's not about that, but it's about the weight. So I'm still not really much further. A little bit. Am I a little bit further? I think I am a little bit. But Nadine is here on Flosstube as well as being on... See how much she's on Instagram. I've just realised I don't think I follow her. But I'll put along here. And I'll try and remember to put along here her Flosstube channel. Or if I don't, if I forget, it'll be down below in the description. That often happens when I'm going through and I'll say, oh, I'll put it here. And you'll watch it and go, so I hasn't put it there. It's because I usually track back and put it in the description box. Because I forget. I forget that I've said I'm going to put things in and I haven't. Anyway, that got me thinking about obviously being creative and stuff. And my little niece Jennifer, and when she was 6, I was I used to do a lot of art stuff with them when they were kids. They would come over and would have craft afternoons with Auntie Sherrie. We'd do lots of painting and sticking and gluing and I was going to say penning, colouring in, using pencils, all sorts of different stuff. So anyway, I hadn't really done anything fibre arts with them. But for our birthday, I'm sure it must have been our 6th or our 7th birthday, I made her a card and I stitched her name, Jennifer, on a piece of Ada, and I made it up into like a little badge, and she could take this little badge off and put it on. And this little girl, she was like astounded at the level of phenomenalness that this was. She just looked at me and she went, "Oh my God, Auntie Sherrie, oh, I know, you could knit as a buggy." Other Geordies or people in the UK might understand that sentence. Anybody else who needs translation is, I could knit her a stroller, I could knit her a pushchair for a baby, for one of her dolls. "And Sherrie, you can knit as a buggy. Jennifer, honey, I'm good, but I'm not quite that good. And besides, my knitting skills aren't great. Nadine could probably knit you a buggy, but I don't think I could." So they've taken about 10 minutes to tell you one sentence. She's a canny bench, 14 now, like. We're reaching that age where she doesn't want anyone to knit her or anything, let alone a buggy. So let's move into cross stitch. We have got, what splendid offerings have I got for you today? I've got a fully finish, just one, but it's still another fully finish. A finish, again just one, but it's one I'm pleased to have finished. I've got one new start and had to stop straight away because it was going to be a start and finish, and I wanted to get just a little bit more longevity out of it. Sorry, it was just a text there. My daughter sent these weird texts this morning of her and her friend Emma dressed up for Halloween, and I was like, "Sure, you look great, but what are you?" You know, when like you get the pictures home when they're 5 from school, you go, "That is fabulous. What is it?" Kind of. I'll show you if I can get the picture up. Can you see that? Anyone know what they are? No? Just me? Alien spaceships. I mean, I suppose it's quite clever. When I look at it now, actually it makes sense, yeah. So, who knew? There you go. So yes, I've got a where was I? Fully finished, new start. I think I've only got one new start. I've got all my whips. I've got 7 whips, which isn't bad for a week, and I have got. I thought we'd have a little look at the Christmas charts. I got all my charts out yesterday to have a look to see. I wanted to match another. I wanted to use one of my nice little frames again, and I wanted to have a look at what Christmas stitching I wanted to maybe get done this year. So I went through them yesterday and sort of earmarked a couple for would like to stitch, want to stitch, will definitely be stitching. So we can have a look at those, and then I've got a few gifts, nothing fantastic, but a couple of gifts for me and this week's giveaway. Well, sorry, the results of last week's giveaway, I should say, because I haven't got another giveaway. Remember I said I was going back to, once I've got one done and sent out, that's when I'll think about doing another one. And I'm absolutely tickled with this. Yeah, I really am tickled with how it ended up. But you'll find more when we get to the end. Let's start then. At the beginning, because it's a very good place to start. I have got, and I've got an old fully finish as well. And the reason will become clear in just a moment. I fully finished my floral etchings too by Heart in Hand. I'll bring it up closer. Oh. This desk's right squeaky, I'm so sorry. So I've just framed it myself. Yeah, I did a one where you just took it all in at the back and hope for the best. I think I'm going to do some finishing classes with you all, because it's I mean, Vanna Pfeiffer takes her inspiration from me. What can I say? So I've got this now. I did this on, this is a 5x7 I think frame. I'm going to have to sort this desk out in a minute, but it's a 5x7 frame just from Next, and I got it to match Floral Etchings 1. So they are 1 and 2. And have you seen the Christmas etchings? Yep, I nearly had to move to America because they come out and they're apparently going to be in shops on the 1st of November, so they'll be in shops now. But us mere mortals over in the UK will have to wait a couple of weeks for my favourite talking dog to get them in her hot little hands. So they are on order from Rachel. So that is number 1 and number 2. So this is done on 32 count ballet slippers by Fox and Rabbit. Number 2 is done on 40 count ballet slippers by Fox and Rabbit. I assume, and I haven't checked, I assume they are probably both the same size in terms of stitch count. I assume they are very similar. So they will go back up in my living room. And I'm chuffed to have them done. I loved it. I fell in love with this. Absolutely head over heels. And I loved this. So when this came out, I was like, need that. So I'm looking forward to having biddy bong, biddy bing, biddy bong. Looking forward to having Christmas etchings done. So that is them. Finish. It's not fully finished, but it is finish. Salem Sisters Apothecary by, I think it's Primrose Cottage. Established 1626. I thought, I've just remembered I haven't undone any of the zips. I'm a bit confused as to the date. Why it's 1626? I don't know. But anyway, I've got that finished and I'm chuffed a bit. So when you last saw it, I was at I think I was at the end of the apothecary. So I've done the rest of that. The little spider, I've done all of this, the bottles and the bird, and then I've come across and done all of the words, and I also plotted in the back stitching, finest portions and charms, and I'd already done, had I done tinctures, I think. Loved this, really enjoyed it. And I love the fabric is 28 count Storm by Big Stitch Me. No idea where I got it from, because I don't have any other bee stitch meat in my stash, and I don't know where even sells it, to be honest. So no idea where it came from. But it's good, and it comes in as a 30 count, with it being an over dye. I've counted it. So that is that. I am chuffed. So my eyes have just gone to the disturbed women up here. Because this isn't just a Halloween piece, this can be all year round. And even if it was just a Halloween piece, I can leave it up all year round if I want to. It's my house and I'll do what I want, right? And you start for, it was my favourite dog, the talking dog Stitcher. It was her birthday on Thursday. Wednesday. And she is doing a hashtag hair of the dog. So it's any primitive hair that you fancy doing. And I told you I was going to do the one with all the witches' names on. And I bottled it. And when I say I bottled it, what I mean is I've got so many I would call medium to big projects on the go. So like I would say this is a medium size project. So anything sort of this up to what I would call a big project. I've just got loads of them. And I was starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. So she looking at her Christmas starts. But I mean, some of the others I'll get put to the side for Christmas. But I thought I just couldn't face having another relatively big whip on the go. So for whatever reason, I just backtracked and thought, no, I'm just going to pick a smaller one. And I went back through me primitive hair and I came up with this one. So 1692, they missed one. Salem. When was the Salem witch trials? That's why I'm saying, why is that 1626? And that's 1692. What is the, what do you call it? What is the reason behind the dates? I assumed it was the Salem witch trials. Now I happen to know there was a lot of where I'm from, Dunfermline up in Scotland, it's classed as the lowlands of Scotland. Excuse me. So obviously you've got the Highlands, and then it's the lowlands, and there were big witch trials in the lowlands of Scotland. You won't be surprised to hear, and yeah, that's where I'm from. So I like this. They missed one. Oh yes, sir, they certainly did. And I was talking to Rachel and she went, they missed more than one. I was like, that is very, very true. They definitely missed more than one. So I'm doing it on 40 count Tempest by Primitive Hair. And I've been itching to do something on this fabric. And that is that. And I'm doing it with 3799. I wanted something that looked a little bit more rustic, a little bit older, a little bit aged, a little bit grubby. So I didn't pick 310. I'm trying to think which is. It is chartered with Gentle Arts. It says GAV. Doesn't say GAV at all. GAF. I thought that was Gentle Arts. Anyway, it says 0391. 0391 witching hour. Anyway, I picked DMC 3799, and that's as far as I got. Now I did that all in one one sitting. So I had to stop because I thought it's going to be another start and finish, which obviously it wouldn't have bothered me. I would quite like to do it, but I would kind of quite like to keep the longevity of doing the sow going a little bit longer than one afternoon, because it was nearly another start and finish. I'm flying these days. Right, going to shuffle some piles and be back with you. Okay, piles have been shuffled. So my first whip is Maria Bowthorpe, which is a Norfolk sampler, and I'm doing this for my friend Alison's birthday. Notice I didn't say for my lovely friend Alison's birthday. I'll explain why in a moment. Excuse me. And this is as far as I am with it. So the last time you saw it, I think we were up to about E. So I've come along, done a few more letters, and I've done this. This took the majority of yesterday. I don't know why it seemed to take so long. And then I've started underneath. So what I've started doing is, you can see where the hoop's been. Rather than moving it along, I was looking at just trying to do what was in that side the hoop, rather than keep moving the hoop and moving it back. And then I remembered I haven't done my initials in a different colour. I always forget because I start with A. And it isn't until I get halfway through the alphabet that I think, oh. So anyway, that's why I've stopped at S, because I went off hunting for a thread to put my initials in with. So I think I've identified the one I'm going to use, like a rose. Well, it was more, yeah, like an autumny type colour. So, and I am doing this with Schoolhouse Red by Gentle Arts. It's Gentle Arts? Gentle Arts, and this is my lovely mother of pearl thread keep that I got from Sarah, which is gorgeous. But notice why I didn't say my lovely friend Alison. It wasn't until yesterday I was looking at the pattern a bit closer. Right, come look closely with me. See all of this, see all the writing, all of the writing, just in case you missed that. All of the writing is in over 1. Alison, you are not allowed to be in charge of our cells anymore. I was looking thinking, that is going to take forever. I don't mind the what do you call it? Stitching the over 1, I've said it before. It's just how long it takes. This is not going to be suddenly a quick stitch. I have to confess, you know, when you think, oh God, no. Don't mind, like I say, don't mind the over 1, but Alison, that much over 1? It's a good job I like you. Right, next one. November Quaker. Oh, upside down. November Quaker. The one where I've changed, well, I've added a colour in. So instead of having 3 colours, we've got 4 colours. This is From the Heart, Needle Art by Wendy. This is where I am now. Haven't done a huge amount since you last saw it, but I've plotted the yellow in, and this is where we were talking last week about I've substituted this brown for that yellow for the flowers, because I just thought it would look odd with brown flowers. So rather than go back and frogging that and making that yellow, it's going to stay brown, and the motif at the bottom that is meant to be brown, I'm going to pick elements of it and do some yellow and some brown. And that is my November one. This was one of, and I've said this many times, this was one of my 24 and 24. And obviously, as soon as, I mean, we're in November now. Can you believe it? Can you believe it's November already? My 12 and 12 and 25 and 25 are sharp coming up. And I've mentioned before I'm going to be doing the blackbird stockings. So I've been sort of started chasing my tail this year because I didn't start January until we were in January. So on December the 1st or thereabouts, I will be starting January stocking in the hope that I get it done, so I'm actually a month ahead of myself. It'll mean I'll have to fox the figures a little bit when we come to 12 and 12 and I suppose 25 and 25 as well. So I'll need to look at that, but that's what I'm going to do, because like I say, I mean, we're in November now and I'm only starting. To be fair, I am getting to the winter of my 12 and 12. How many numbers do we need? You know, I'm getting towards the end of the Quaker series, so I'm starting to have a bit fatigue now. I'm hitting big project fatigue, because although it's 12 separate projects, put them all together, they're pretty big. So I'm definitely getting big project fatigue now, as Sherrie from Antique Needleworkers would say. I'm ready to be done with it. I am ready. So I need to start myself ahead of time for next year. Not entirely sure what it's going to look like as yet, but I will keep you posted, of course. So the next one was one I worked on last Saturday and haven't worked on it for a little while. It was Modern Folk Embroidery by, it's the Rosebush Sampler by Modern Folk Embroidery. And I did this is where I am. So last week I worked on, the last time you saw it, I had done sort of 3/4 of the flower. So, or I had finished the flower maybe. Yeah, because I don't remember doing any yellow last weekend. So basically I started working, putting all the green in. So I did all the green, the feathers that protect the rose. And then over here, there's a little bird there you can just see. And then a little bird underneath the rose. And then moving down with the darker green. So that was what I got done last Saturday. It looks amazing now, doesn't it? Well, I think it does. You can really see it starting to come together. I need to go back to the border, do a bit of the border, a bit of the middle. A bit of the border, a bit of the middle is the way I think I'm going to do it. Just sublime. That's a good point. I haven't told you what I'm doing anything on. I mean, November Quaker has been done on 22 count hard hanger, and this one's been done on one of my favourites, which is 36 count parchment from Weeks, and I'm doing it with all the called for DMC 1/2. Love it. Love this. Just the palette. It's just divine. Divine, 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 divine. Oh, yes, I did a little bit on this. So on Rachel's table, there is room at the table for everyone. And there is. And this is what we got as a table gift from Rachel at Stitch in London. And this is where I am. I have done a bit. And I'm doing this with Antique Lace by Gentle Arts and my Sew Me Sarah floss drops. And this thread is just gorgeous. Can you see the variegation? It's beautiful. It's like got a... It's just like cream, but morphing into almost like a toffee kind of light brown. Really, really, really lovely. And I'm doing this on, I think it's 40 count. I think it's 40 count, and it's one of Marie's Swan Bay fabrics that I'm doing it on, which I also got from Stitch in London. And if you haven't checked out our fabrics yet, you should. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see any of the mottling. You can't really. It's got some really lovely mottling in. Very pale. Oh, you can see there. It's lovely. It's really nice. This is going to be gorgeous when it's done. It's a bit like the, can you remember the Jacob's Girls I did, Quaker Sisters, and I did a negative for that one as well. Negative stitch. I did the white with the sort of dark blue on one, and very similar, like a grey with, I think it was tin white I used, if I remember right, on the other. And this one's another Talking Dog one. So this is Christmas Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches, when I can see it. And Rachel's flying on this now. She started off way behind, but she's definitely taken over. The last time I saw, she was ahead of me. Haven't watched her Flosstube yet this week, which is what I will be doing this afternoon or this morning whenever I get to Flosstube. So I'll find out how far she is, but this is where I am. So this was to the end of November. So yes, I'm missing like a little prong here, and I'm missing a few stitches here. But that's because I'm not going to get a green out or a white out for half a dozen stitches to then have a bit of thread just hanging around for no reason. So I'll wait until I'm at the white down here, and then I'll go back and do those few stitches. So yes, I know I haven't done those. It is kind of deliberate. Well, it's more, not so much deliberate, but I'm strategic. I'm being strategic, sorry. So that's as far as I am. And now it's a push for the finish. Oh, and I still need to come back and do that. And put his little eyes in and put the dog's eye and nose on. So there's a little bit of snagging as well. But it looks good, doesn't it? I'm quite chuffed with it. And I'm just doing it 2/2 on, I think it's a 32 count. I'm not sure what, but I think it's a 32 count. I'm chuffed with that. And I'm chuffed that I've managed to keep up with myself. And Rachel, and it's actually been really good because we have been a little bit competitive over it, so it has really worked well. I haven't been allowed to sit on my laurels because like I turned around, like she was way behind us, and I was like, yeah, whatever, she'll never make it. And then suddenly I turned around and she was way ahead, and I'm like, whoa, what happened? Okay, this one. Brenda Gervais, when pumpkins glow. Obviously we're after Halloween now. I'll see how I feel. I'm going to keep it out for the moment. Obviously it's a whip, so it's still something to do. I'm going to keep it in my whip pile. And this is as far as I am. It's really starting to come together, isn't it? So when you last saw it, I think I've just managed to do his breeches. So since then, I have done all of the over one coming down here and this big vine coming down here. I've done another birdie. I've done bits like putting the white in. I have come along here a little bit more with the avocado, putting some more of the blocks in, and I've done, I think I had done in the night and pumpkins or something like that. So I finished off night and I've done the candles and then the light and some more of the little flowers. It's coming on, isn't it? And this is on 40 count platinum. And I'm pleased I didn't have it, what's the word? Conscious. When I started doing the over one, that I was doing it on 40 count. Like I just did it, I cracked on with the over one. It wasn't until a couple of days later I thought, I've done over one on 40 count. That's bonkers. And did it quite nicely as well. I mean, I did need to use I used my readers and also the magnifying bit on my light. But I mean, it's like I've said before, once you get your magnification sorted, you can stitch on anything. She says, Sarah Stonehouse this week has, I can't remember which one, it's one of Stacey Nash's animal crackers. Can't remember if it was Maggie May, but she's put that on Instagram this week and she's done it. She was inspired by the Humble Bumble Stitcher who was at the Stacey Nash retreat, who I met as well, and she'd brought all hers in. So Sarah's just done her first one on 46 count 1 over 1. Yeah, I'm going to repeat that again. 46 count 1 over 1. I think it's 10th stitch that she's done, but that's still 46 count 1 over 1. And there's me going, oh yeah, I did 40 count 1 over 1. Do you know, there's always someone who steals your thunder, isn't there? There really is. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, you should, because she's amazing. Fabulous, fabulous stitcher. But I'm proud that I've managed to do 1 over 1, 40 count, without moaning about it. Alison, maybe I'll get to the point where I won't moan about it. I think it's just that there's so much on that one, on that Norfolk sampler. So much. It's going to take us a year to do a little, what you call it? A relatively little marking sampler. Right, last whip. And it is this one that I got out, Jardin Privé, Au fil de Nicoire. I just know it means something about bird boxes because I looked up the translation. Not recently, I hastened to add, but I did look it up. This is the one I'm doing as a gift for someone else. It would be nice to have it done for Christmas, but I'm not that stupid. It's looking good though. Isn't it? It's looking really good. So I haven't done a huge amount on this, but it was good to get it out and look at it again. So all I've done on this basically is a little bit more of the white of this post, and I've started on the green of the little birdhouse, which I failed to find the name of the other week when I was trying to say birdhouse. So it's this, no it's not, I'm at this side. So him with his little hat on, little leprechaun. And this is, and I didn't realise when I bought it, this is the calendar, the months of the year. So each birdhouse represents a month in the year. And I think that's dead clever. I do think it's dead clever. So far we've got the winter warmer, the lovebirds, and then we're moving on to the leprechaun for March, because it is St. Patrick's Day. Always used to make me laugh. We would all celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but we don't celebrate our own saints. We just celebrate Ireland's ones because they're far cooler than ours. St. George and St. Andrew. I suppose St. Andrew. Yeah. I don't know if they celebrate the Welsh one. I don't even know what the Welsh one is. St. Cardiff. I don't know. I mean, the rest are all names. Is the Welsh one a name? I think I might need to look that up. We always end up doing a little bit of research in something, don't you? Don't you? Don't we? Right, and that is all my stitching for this week. Oh, no, it isn't. Totally lying. Totally lying. It's another one that I've got to show you on my phone because I haven't printed it out. And it is the historical sampler Robin Christmas Patchwork. And that is, so they brought the second part out. And I've started, I have started, I've done more than one white line on it. So I was working on this last night. So I've done the first one, give or take. I just need to put his little nose in. And I've just started working on going down. So I do need to put quite a bit more effort into this one to get caught up, because as you can see, I should have done, by now I should have done 3, 4, 5, 6.5 boxes. I've done one. Need to get a shufty on. And they did kindly gift me this, and I got it with the linen. And they send all the threads. This is 32 count, that's why I got linen. And they send all the threads pre-sorted, which are amazing. This is a lovely little stitch. And I've done quite a lot of their Christmas stitches, so I'm looking forward to these little, I love this little lolly. These little lollies, the way these have come out, has made me actually want to go and buy some like candy striped lollies. I love sweets. Absolutely love sweets. Terrible fiend for sweets. So is my daughter as well. If I want to like make her happy, I'm just 32, but I'll buy her sweets. She'll come round, I'll say, and she'll always have a look in my cupboard where the sweets used to always be. So if she's coming now, I always make sure I hide mine, because otherwise I'll be left with none. Because she automatically, it's the first thing she ever does. 32, she moved out God knows how long ago, and still comes back, and first thing she does is open the cupboard to see what sweets are there. So yes, if you've got kids that have moved out, I'm sure they just come back home to start shopping. Like most people go to Asda or Tesco's. Kids come to their mums and go shopping in their kitchen. So that really is all of my stitching. So when I I'll clear this pile up and then we'll have a little look at the charts that I've got earmarked for Christmas. Right, let's have a little look at what my thought process. I do have a thought process. It's not always valid. It's not always the kind of thought process that most people would have. Sorry, I've got a hair somewhere tickling my nose. Okie doke. Cast your eyes back. Cast your mind back if you were around then to this. And I did this, finished this a couple of months ago. It wasn't long ago. And I deliberately did it to go in this frame. So I did, instead of doing the stitching and then finding a frame to match, I found the frame and then looked for a piece of stitching to match. So I thought I'd teach you. I thought I'd take you through my thought process to do that, because I've done that again with one of these. So I went through, I've got this frame that I got from Lisa, Italia Frames, and it's a lovely, albeit unusual shaped frame. So what I did was I got me Christmas patterns out and went through them, and I'm looking for something that is either wide and short, or tall and slim, basically, that I want to do. So I came across this one, and this is one I definitely want to do. I also have another one of these as a giveaway. Not today, but I will give one of these away. So that'd be cool. But these I thought, they would be great. So then what I need to do is figure out how do I get it to fit in there. So I literally go on I'm sure you've all got your own. I use X Stitch Plus, that one. And I go into, I just go into tools and into the calculator. So the stitch count width was 65 by 120 threads per inch, and I just start off with a random one. So I'll start off with, for this one, I started off with 36 count, stitch over 2, and then calculate. So I don't put any border in. I just get the actual size of the stitching, and then I just measure it. Does it fit? Now this was going to be too big width wise. It wouldn't fit in. It was going to be too big. So I went back to the drawing board, as it were, and I put 40 count in. 40 count will fit quite nicely. So now I need to just go and find a 40 count piece of fabric, because it's going to be this one, by the way. That one doesn't fit. It's too fat still. And obviously the smaller more you compress it, you lose the height. So it would just look odd. But I think this little tree will fit in quite nicely. So there you go. That is how I do my stitching to fit a frame rather than a frame to fit stitching. Does that make sense? I've never come across anybody else doing that, you see, and there was a few people in the comments that said, oh, I've never thought about that. So, and I mean, to be fair, it's because I've got a frame fetish. So I must have 50, easy, 50 frames without a shadow of a doubt. But I like picking up odd ones, like odd shaped ones. So yeah. So what did I come across as well that I fancy doing that wouldn't fit in those frames? I don't know, right? Am I allowed to do this? Primitive hair. Christmas, Queen of the Needles. I would really like to do this. And it isn't until I've just looked at it now when I was getting it, like putting it on, well, sitting on the top of the pile of the ones I'd looked at, that I thought, I could have done that for me hair of the dog. But I think, sorry, so itchy. Nose. I think I was thinking because it was the 30th of October, I was automatically thinking down the Halloween route. But it didn't have to be Halloween. I think Rachel's doing a Christmas one or a Scrooge one, something like that. But I could have done this. And now I'm thinking, well, can I do 2 hairs of the dog? I think that might work. Which means I can finish the other one off super quick. And then I can start on this. And this is me hair of the dog part 2. Does that work? Can I do that? Am I allowed to do that? I think I'm allowed to do that. So I'll need to kit this up toot sweet. I think that's fab. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. The other thing, now I remember putting these out last year when I bought them at last year's Jingle Ball. And what I try and do, I've mentioned it before with magazines, that I try and go through them and I'll photocopy anything I really would like to stitch and put it into where my patterns are kept. So I've come across these 2 that I'd quite like to do. So it's Morning Star, a heartstring samplery, designed by Beth Twist. Quite like that. So I'll need to go and find out whereabouts on my computer, on which computer and which file that is. And I like this as well. What does that say? Oh, was the right way around. I've got my love to keep me warm. That's more of a winter one though, but I do like that. The other one is this Little House Needleworks, and I've done 2 of their little 4 and 4s. So I'd quite like to do that one. This one now, I'm sure I've got this kitted up somewhere. Merry Christmas by October Fibre House. No, October House Fibre Arts even. I always say it the wrong way around. I'm sure I've got this kitted somewhere, so I'm not going to kit this up yet. I'm sure I've got it. Sure I have. And again, these were the ornaments that I bought. Now this could be, I'm not sure if this was Jingle Ball 2022 or 23, but I've got this one by Ink Circles, and these are more ornaments. And I even had it put away with a bit, and I've dyed this. This is just a bit of, it looks like maybe 18 count that I've home dyed. So I've obviously decided that that will go on it quite nicely. There was a picture. What's going on? There's all these birds flying around my window. There he is again. How very peculiar. Last week it was cats, this week it's birds. So that'll be a nice little ornament to do. And this one as well, and this is Heartstring Samplery, is it? Beth Twist? Yeah. Jingle all the way. I thought that would be cute. So they're the ones that I identified. Oh no, and this one I've got kitted up, ready to go. But they're the ones I identified when I was just looking the other day for something that would fit in that frame. I am going to do this. Now it says Companion Quaker Part 2, so I'll need to look up what the original, what Part 1 is. But I got this from, I'm sure she was called Tammy. She was at the Big Stitch, and I can't remember the name of the company. It's not something I've come across before. But there was her and her husband, and I think they live in one of the Scandinavian countries. Lovely lady. But anyway, so I have got this kitted up. I'm doing it on this piece. And this is a piece that I had custom dyed to do Fairy Moon on from, what's her name? Sophie Stitchy Ferret. And I've got out these two. So size 12s, just a white and a, it's like a very pale mint green. So they're the ones. So I've got them, I've got that ready to go. And I think I'm going to start this one today. Plum Street Samplers, Hello Winter. Now I've done Hello Spring, it's sitting up there actually. Yeah. And I've done Hello Autumn as well, which is up here. Halfway to being fully finished. This one is Hello Autumn. No, it's not. It's called Hello Fall. And I didn't do the letters on it because I was going to rechart it and put Hello Autumn on, but I'm lazy and I can't be bothered, so I didn't. That should be on my epitaph. She's lazy, she couldn't be bothered, so she didn't. So yeah, Hello Winter. I think I'll start that today, and I'm going to do it on, I had something picked out, but it was Steinbeck, I think, from Needle and Flax. It was like a dirty sort of browny samplery kind of colour. I thought, why am I doing such a, that kind of a colourway? I don't know. I mean, so I was having a look on there and trying to see. So I had a look at raw, natural raw. That is what I got. I can't remember. Anyway, I've decided to do it on this. They are the threads that I've got. Some of the overdyes and a couple of DMC because I didn't have all of the overdyes. So I think that'll be quite nice because I think wintry is like a cool blue colour. When I think of winter, I think of cool blue. So that I think I'm going to start today. So that'll be another new start. That's it. That's it. All of the starts. So what did I get? Gifts. What did I get myself? Well, I got myself these tartlet tins for my fall, which again is halfway through being finished as well. So my blackbird that I started and finished. So I got them. I got these from Rachel, Talking Dog. Merry Autumn Pin Keep, Stacey Nash. Busy Bee by Any Bees. How doth the little busy bee improve each shining hour? I got the Texas Wild Berry flower. and I got Comfort Lighthouse by Carriage House Samplings. I know there's a lot of people like doing the lighthouses. There might be a bit of fudgy editing in there because I've just shown something that had my address plastered all over it. So I really need to get rid of that. I got an actual gift. Not one from me. One from my very, 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 very lovely friend, the turtle. Look what I got. I'd said to her, I need to order it. And she said, I hope you're not talking about the fat quarter, the William Morris fat quarter, Sherrie, because I've sold out. And I was like, you're kidding? No, that doesn't work for me, Sophie. Within 3 hours, this dropped through my door. She was howling because obviously it was just weird timing that I happened to say I really need to order those fat quarters. So yes, the turtle is the most wonderful being I've ever known in my entire life. Love it to pieces. If anyone asks what Sherrie's opinion of the turtle is, it is of the highest regard. Yeah, she sent me the fat quarters. And it was one of you ladies who suggested, who had said, if I got them, I would make a lovely patchwork cushion out of them. And I think that's a great idea. So I'm going to get Sophie to teach me how the hell to do it. Sophie's going to seriously regret having given me them. And I got a lovely little, I suppose it's a keychain fob, isn't it? With a little paw and a little fish. Oh, isn't that dead canny, man? Over the bloody moon I was. Chuffed and chuffed again. I got my The World of Cross Stitch through. And the free gift. I think this is the free gift. Yeah, I think it's that one. I'm only wondering because I came across one of the other ones before from a different. And then I follow a lady called Katharina Stitched. Can't remember. I think it's German or could be Austrian, something like that. She's an amazing lady on Instagram, and the stuff she does, it's right up my street. She does a lot of like Quakers and monochrome stitches, and just the photos and things are just perfect. And she was in the middle of doing a red stitch, and I was like, I need that. So I went and looked it up, and I ordered it, and I also ordered another 2 of hers. So the one I wanted was Stitches in Red, designs by Brenda Keys, and this is the one that Katarina is doing at the moment. There is so many really lovely looking at doing Verity Moor or the button box is a little stitch, a little-ish stitch. Obviously I want to do that one, but I haven't got the capacity to start another red stitch. I'd like to start my historical sampler one soon as well. And while I was there, I got these. So it's all from the Sampler Company, which is by Brenda Keys. This one's called Floral Sampler. And they all come, or the 2 I got. Now I need to be careful. What happens is when I film, this much gets like chopped off. So when I was trying to show you last week, I noticed on the patterns I was trying to show you the corner of a pattern. Couldn't see anything because I'm working on the corner of my screen, but not what you get to see. But basically, you will get a list of what you need. You get a thread organizer, and you get like a little postcard stitched by in the year. So you could put that on the back if you wanted. So yeah, that's that one, the floral sampler. And this one, I love this. Catherine Darcy sampler. Isn't it gorgeous? Really lovely. And that's it. It's enough. It's enough. It's more than enough. That is it. I'm sure there was something else I had to tell you about. Wait, I'll go and fetch me list. Right. I just need to find my winner of, so it's from Haystack Stitching. Is it? Yeah. Haystack Stitching. Caroline very kindly donated either a chart or a kit. Words are going now. It definitely needs to, I need to be on my way because my words are starting to not happen properly the way it's meant to happen. And the word was haystack, and it really made me laugh. I'll show you the winner. So it's Dawn Yates, and what she says is, it's an honour to watch your Flosstubes and also feature in a Justsewsherrie. Best wishes from Comfy Bra Donna. So, Anonymous Donna has just outed herself entirely, completely and totally. So, Dawn, you won the giveaway. I think that's brilliant. And it's almost like meant to be, isn't it? Really weird that randomly I chose that Justsewsherrie for last week, and then she goes and wins the giveaway. Yes, words are hard. Words are hard. Okie doke, where are we then? Forward plans, I never mentioned them. I'm going to go and stitch on that Hello Winter, and then on whatever else I fancy. Because it turns out that when I say forward plans, and I'm going to stitch on this today, I never do. Never ever do. Never do. I'll stitch on what I feel like stitching in that moment. And that's kind of how I want it to be. So, today's final thought, and I literally just came across this the other day and thought, I'm going to keep that. So this is with nobody and nothing kind of in mind. It is just something I read that I thought, you know what? And it really defines the stitching community. It really does. For me anyway, on my experience. So this was on somebody called Alethea Crimmins on her Instagram page, and she's like a bit of a, she's not a life coach, but she kind of is. She's morphed into being a bit of a life coach over time. I've followed her for quite a long time. And she says, it doesn't give me an author, so I don't know where it comes from, but it says, if we don't inspire, motivate or support one another, we have no business being in contact. Go and support someone. Bye for now.